Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Avasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. Good morning. I think I have my morning voice today, so maybe we'll be soothed. I'm going to the movies today with my niece. Yes, the same niece. And I'm going to listen to the audio descriptions with the device, whatever that is that they give you. So, um, and I don't know, I was thinking about wearing a eye mask or something like that. I don't think I have an eye mask, like one of those sleeping eye masks. And then I thought maybe I might, I don't care what I look like necessarily, but what if an emergency? I don't know. I was gonna say, what if like in an emergency I need to look, but I could just take it off. I don't know. It's sketchy, you know. It's sketchy because there have for me, like if I'm talking about how I feel about the situation, like I'm thinking, I don't know, I don't want to have something over my face in the movie theaters because movie theaters can get sketchy. I mean, we've heard it in the news. So I think I'm gonna wear my outdoor sunglasses with my side what are they called? I don't know, the peripheral blockers. And that'll remind me just to keep my eyes closed. And they're really dark in case I do open my eyes. I know I have a choice to open my eyes, but it is really hard. And I'm imagining if the movie's getting really good and there's something that I'm like, they're describing and I want to look at it, then I'm going to be inclined to open my eyes. So it's going to be an interesting experience. But I'm excited. I'm going to get some popcorn and some Twizzlers and a Coca-Cola. And I'm excited to like feel the movie, the sound, you can like feel it in a movie theater. So it should be a cool experience. Super grateful to my niece for being willing to go with me and experience it with me. I imagine she's probably going to watch the movie normally, but we'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And I'll tell you all about it after tomorrow in my episode. So today, this morning, we listened to a story about a guy who, it's a story in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's a guy who got sober at the age of 18, or at least he walked into AA for the first time at the age of 18. And I'm just amazed by these people who get sober like in their 20s even, but to walk in the rooms at 18 is fascinating to me. That's what I was thinking. And then I realized I went to an AA meeting at the age of, I might have been about the same age because I ended up getting um, arrested at a checkpoint because I was drinking. So I had lots of repercussions. I had to go to ASAP. I had to go to AA, and I had to go to court. So I ended up walking in there too. And that's not why this guy went in there. He went in there because he was searching for what was wrong with him because and that's what I want to talk about. Why did he think that something was wrong with him? Because I felt the same way that I heard in the story this morning. I felt the same way as I was growing up. Um, and I found that when I found alcohol, it was this self-medicating tool that I was like, thank God I have found this. Um, so I also want to talk about how like sobriety didn't take away what I heard somebody say this morning. Sobriety didn't take away my problems, but it helped me to have the tools, the courage, and the clarity to deal with my problems. So what I was thinking about this morning was that I had lots of friends throughout my life. I've always had lots of friends. Um, I'm a nice person, and I had like my interactions with my friends were always good. I feel like I had a good friend picker. And and my experience with my friends was good. So this isn't to say that I didn't appreciate my friends, but I felt like I was never quite measuring up to my friends. I felt like they were prettier, funnier, um, they had a better everything. One of the things that I remember standing out to me when I was growing up was that they had a complete family. So I grew up with my mom and my brother and my older brother and my older sister. And I remember looking at these other people that had a complete family, they had a mom and dad and a brother or something like that. That's a lot of my friends had a mom and dad and a brother. And so I kind of felt like it was an opportunity to feel sorry for myself that I didn't have what they had. And I was searching. That's when I look back, it's like I was searching for a way to compare out, a way to confirm, yes, you are different. Yes, you don't fit in. You are not good enough. I was seeking like confirmation that of why I was feeling so wrong on the inside. Um, I felt alone all the time. Even when I was with my friends, I felt alone. I felt like, I mean, the best way to say it is that I wasn't good enough. I never felt good enough. Um, I was thinking this morning about this feeling of being alone, this feeling of alone that I had in my life. Particularly in high school. I remember it getting pretty bad in high school. I felt very alone. And I was wondering, was I alone? Was I physically alone when I was feeling alone? Or was I with people and I was feeling alone? And I can remember lots of different instances in elementary school, middle school, high school, college where I was not alone, but I felt alone. Um, I wanted to be one of the other children, one of the other young adults. I wanted to be them. I never wanted to be me. I liked me. I wasn't embarrassed of me, but I never just felt like I was proud to be me. Like I wanted to step out in front of the crowd and look back and say, look at me, you know? And I'm sure there's lots of people who are not alcoholics who felt the same way. Um, I think about some of the folks that I grew up with that I went to school with my whole life. And those people were isolated. And I don't think it was their choice. I feel like they just didn't make friends. And I don't think it was their fault necessarily. You know what I mean? Um, and that's like the difference there that I think about is like I felt alone, yet I had a lot of friends. And when I'd see some of the people that were alone a lot, I don't know. whether I felt much different than them or not. I wish I could go back. So there's some things that, we say we don't regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. There's some things that I wish that I didn't, that I could go back and change. And one of those things is those people who were clearly alone. I wish that I would have made an effort to say to them, I'm just like you. I feel just like you. And maybe they looked alone but didn't feel alone. I have no idea. But I do wish that I made people feel more loved. Um, but that's today, that's 50-year-old me that wishes that I could do that. I didn't have the courage back then to do that. I remember also one of the memories that's coming to mind today is I remember going to one of my friends' houses, and there were two other friends there. And I don't know, I think we were like doing our hair or nails, or I don't remember exactly what we were doing, but it was some sort of beautification thing. And I remember sitting there and just feeling like I didn't belong there. And I was like, they're so much prettier than I am. That's awful that I felt that way. You know, I don't know why I felt that way because I don't think, like today, looking back, I don't think they were prettier than me. It was just that's how I felt. Um, I remember going to many college parties, college fraternity parties, and walking into the fraternity chapter room. And I was walking in with other sorority sisters. Side note, my sorority was not a sorority. It was a female fraternity, a women's fraternity, Zeta Tau Alpha. Anyway, Alpha chapter. Okay. So I remember walking in with all of my other sorority sisters and feeling it's like everything closed in on me when I walked in to that fraternity room. Like I could not get alcohol fast enough. I'm like, I need to know where the beer is because the beer was the only thing that made me feel like I wasn't alone. Um, I think that today there was fundamentally something wrong with me. Um, but I don't think it was anything other than chemicals. You know, I thought that there was something physically wrong with me, or my character wasn't good enough or something like that. Today, I understand that there was chemically something fundamentally wrong. When I was introduced to drinking, I think I became this like continuously seeping volcano, you know? Um, when I started drinking, I started writing poetry. And that's where I can see that it makes me think of this continuously seeping volcano. Um, that there was just hot lava just slowly seeping out of me. And that hot lava was depression. And the older that I got, uh, I found that drinking made me feel less. I wouldn't say it made me feel less alone. It made me care less that I felt alone. It made me care less that I didn't feel good enough. pretty as all the people around me, as funny. Um, Sometimes in college and in high school, I remember, and middle school, I would drink to the point, I would drink beyond that point that I didn't care. And that's where that slowly seeping volcano would erupt in destructive, self deprecating. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. Destructive reactions to my own depression and my own feelings of lacking self worth. It was when I drank too much that it started to work against me again. And that point of drinking too much where where the eruption of depression and lack of self-worth would come became more frequent the older I got and the more I drank, more often I drank, until the thing that was taking the pain away, the alcohol, the thing that was taking that discomfort away or making me not care that I was uncomfortable, was ultimately killing me. I was drinking every day in my late teens, and I did so until I was 42 years old. There's only a couple times that I didn't drink. And I'm saying that with confidence. Like, note that I didn't say there's a couple times that I think I didn't drink. I know, I'm certain there's a couple times that I did not drink. And I'm saying it with certainty because that's how certain I am that I drank every single day. Um, I had a system. Even before I was 21, I had a system of getting that alcohol in order to put put to rest that discomfort, cover it up a little bit. And I found that like a six pack was the perfect amount, a six pack a day in my teens was the perfect amount to make that feeling subside, the feeling of not being good enough. Um, and I remember when I was married to my first husband, and my son was probably about 2. I remember drinking that six pack a night. So I was working at that point in my career, my newly fashioned career. And I remember having that six pack a night until the six pack a night wasn't good enough. And then I remember breaking into more than six. And that's when things got a little more difficult for me because I was drinking beyond that feeling of not caring. I was drinking into this to this point of wanting to permanently, like if I drink more, maybe I will permanently make this current reality disappear. And I talked to multiple therapists in my 20s and 30s, and I felt proud of myself for wanting to go and talk about my feelings because I knew that something was wrong. And I thought that if I went in there and talked to therapists about my feelings, my problems could get fixed. And I wouldn't have to drink so much. But as soon as these therapists would ask me how much I drank, I would lie. Just like when I would go to the doctor for my physical and they would ask me how much I drink, and I would lie. I would say 2 or 3, and that's not the truth. I was drinking six a night. until it became 8 a night. You know, I I was not telling the truth from the very, very beginning. In my teens, I wasn't telling the truth. Um, so fast forward to when I was 42 and I began going to AA, I was terrified. And when I was preparing for this episode this morning, I thought, I don't remember why I even went to AA, but I do. How could I forget? My father-in-law at the time and my brother-in-law at the time um, held my hand and walked me into AA because they had experience with AA. They had alcoholism in my husband's family. And so they had experience with Al-Anon and AA. And they said, this could be the answer for you. And at the time, my brother-in-law was going to AA, and he showed me what it was like. He showed me how to share. He showed me how to just walk in there with my head up. And my father-in-law held my hand the whole way. He held my hand the whole way. My father-in-law was not touchy-feely, but I mean, he did give me hugs every time he saw me, but it was, I don't know, maybe he was touchy-feely. I don't know. Um, but he held my hand, and that was really special for me that I had these two men walk me and start me on my path. Um, I know you lifetime listeners know that those two men have passed. Um, my father, both of them rather abruptly and unexpectedly, but my brother-in-law committed suicide. And, you know, I won't go down that tangent. I have lots of episodes where I have gone down that tangent, and I'm sure I'll go down it again sometime. But it means the world to me that they were a part of the beginning of my journey. Um, of course, when I walked into that AA room, I didn't feel like I fit in, but that was a feeling that I was used to. And thankfully, I don't know why, but thankfully, I kept coming. I kept going to the meetings and I didn't stop drinking, but I was showing up to these meetings, and that decision to keep coming back, quote unquote, as we say in AA, was the next step in my journey to this sober version of myself. I I was able to show up to the meetings and I didn't have to talk. I was able to show up to the meetings, and what I was afraid of, I think, when I first went to AA was that I was going to have to pretend to be somebody that I wasn't. I thought I was going to have to pretend to want to be there. I didn't want to be there. And when I heard people talking, and I only could have done that by showing up. By listening to those people, I heard them say exactly how I felt. And I was amazed. I remember the first time I nodded my head in an AA meeting and thought, me too. And that's when I was like, this is where I fit in. I still had to find meetings that felt like home, but every meeting felt like I was at a friend's home. You know that feeling when you walk into a friend's house? Well, depending on the friend, you walk into the friend's house and you're like, I'm comfortable here, but it's not home. That's what every meeting felt like to me. I'm comfortable here, but it's not home until I found my home. And those are the meetings that I go to every day now, every morning. Now I do it virtually because of my symptoms and not being able to drive and stuff. But for me, it works. For me, I think I built such a strong foundation over the years before I had my stroke that I'm able to do this thing virtually. And I've got a great network of women who are willing to come to me. You know, if I were to call these women and be like, I need you, they would show up at my house. And I know that. I'm confident in that. So I wanted to talk this morning about discomfort. You know, I wanted to talk about what it was like for real, because I know that, you know, I had a friend, a college friend, who connected with me and said, I think I'm an alcoholic. And I remember saying, if you think you are, you probably are, you know. But she was scared, you know, she was scared that other people were going to find out. She lived in a small town. She was afraid of going to a rehab or detox facility because, you know, you've never experienced that. And does that mean that I'm weird? Does that mean I'm crazy? Do I have to pretend like I want to be there? No, you don't. You can be yourself and walk in. That's what got us there. And everybody walks into those places as themselves. And that's the place where you can be yourself and you can say, this is how messy my life is, and I need help cleaning it up. And it has worked for me. It truly has, and I'm so grateful for that. I really am. So that's what I've got today for our episode of the Recovery Daily podcast. I saw as I was recording that my beloved niece texted me and said, are you ready to go to the movies today? How are you feeling? We have a mutual understanding that we're allowed to back out at the last minute because we both have headaches. I think that she has long COVID that has caused daily migraines, but it's interesting that we both are experiencing the same similar stuff. She doesn't have eyeball problems, but anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I will certainly fill you guys in tomorrow on how the movie theater went. And I hope you enjoyed kind of this I don't know, serene, calm episode. That's what I was feeling today. I hope I gave off that vibe. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you back tomorrow. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.